A flirtatious murmur leaked through the door. Peeking through the crack, I felt my heart rip in two. How could they? Riverdale is supposed to be sacred. You're beautiful, more beautiful than any woman at Riverdale. Marcus's praise cut straight through me. I bit my lip hard, stifling any sound. Skye cooed. Sticky sweet. Prettier than Fleur too. I hear she's into you. My heart lurched. I practically glued my ear to the gap. Fleur, too uptight, always quoting policy. His scornful laugh punched a hole in my pride. Besides, I like girls like you. He bent and kissed her, growing bolder by the second. Tears slid down my cheeks. The ache in my chest strangled my breath. Years of secret love, worthless in his eyes. And the friend I trusted most had stabbed me in the back. No, I'm not conceding defeat. I swiped the tears away. A strange fury flared, stealing my will. Who is Marcus to dismiss me? I'll make him eat those words. I clenched my fists and vowed, I'll make Marcus fall for me, make him obsessed. As I spun to leave, my foot clipped the mop bucket in the corner. Clang. The locker room went dead quiet. Who's out there? Marcus barked. Instantly alert, panicked. I bolted, heart hammering like a drum. Behind me the door flew open, footsteps racing closer. Fleur, is that you? His voice spurred me faster. I skidded around the corner and ducked into the med storage room, smothering my own mouth. The steps approached, paused right outside. Weird. I swear someone was here, Marcus muttered. Suspicious. Minutes later the footsteps finally receded. I sagged to the floor, tears flooding free. My phone buzzed. Skye, Fleur. Were you outside the staff locker room just now? I gnawed my lip and ignored her. Jealousy and rage kept blazing. Tomorrow they'll meet a brand new Fleur. I dried my face, straightened my scrubs, my plan already forming. Marcus, you'll soon learn what a real woman is. After my shower, I studied myself in the mirror. Years of nursing had kept me slim yet curvy. Tonight I'm trashing the conservative image. Marcus is going to see the other me. I picked a low-cut black dress, something I'd never dared wear. I did my makeup carefully and spritzed the perfume an ex gave me, the one I'd been saving. My phone vibrated. Marcus, I'm at Riverdale's back entrance. After last night, I thought he'd avoid me. Yet this morning he cornered me. About last night. Keep it between us, he'd whispered, breath brushing my ear. Skye and I were just playing. Honestly, I've always wanted you. The line sent my pulse racing even while my brain screamed scam. Free tonight. Let me take you to dinner and explain. His fingertips grazed my wrist. I forgot how to breathe and simply nodded. Now I draw a deep breath and lock my front door. Marcus leans against his BMW in a black shirt and dark denim. So handsome it hurts. His gaze roams over me, stunned by the transformation. Fleur, you're gorgeous tonight. He opens the car door, voice low and velvet. Inside, his cologne mixes with leather and makes my heart stutter. He drives us to an upscale bistro 30 minutes out, supposedly booked a month in advance. Candlelight, red wine, and his unwavering stare. Everything feels perfect. I've always thought you were Riverdale's most special woman. His hand covers mine, thumb stroking. Heat rushes under my skin. Really? Then last night, a mistake. Skye threw herself at me. I lost my head for a second. His eyes shimmer with remorse. I sip my wine, hiding the turmoil inside. I know you like me. The girls at the nurse's station tell me everything. His fingers trail from my knuckles to my pulse, sparking electricity. I like you too, Fleur, but I don't want to ruin your reputation at Riverdale. I meet his gaze and drown in those deep pools. I don't care what anyone thinks. My own steady voice startles me. After dinner we skip going straight home and head for Riverside. Night wind lifts my hair. His arm circles my waist and pulls me close. I'd only seen the serious charge nurse side. Never imagined you were this captivating. His breath feathers my nose. We're close enough to share a heartbeat. Too many rules at Riverdale. I can't let loose there. I rest against his chest. He kisses me, gentle at first, then demanding, melting my knees. I answer, fingers tangling in his hair, forgetting reason. Come to my place, he whispers, lips at my ear. I know exactly what yes means, but I'm powerless to refuse. His condo is sleek, the living room windows framing the city lights. Drink, he lifts a bottle of single malt. I shake my head, walk straight up, and loop my arms around his neck. Surprise flickers across his face, then a delighted grin. Fleur, you keep amazing me. He kisses me again, hotter this time. Never pictured you this passionate, he pants. His bedroom is spacious, minimalist, the dark sheets an invitation. You sure? I nod, shoving every doubt away. Tonight I just want to to be his. To forget everything. Passion I've never known sweeps through me. You're breathtaking, he murmurs against my ear. Voice thick with desire. He guides me into an unknown, exquisite world. No thoughts, only sensation. I've never felt so completely satisfied. Fleur, you're incredible. He kisses my brow, awe in his tone. I curl against him, happier and more fulfilled than ever. I've always wanted to tell you, you're the most beautiful nurse manager I've seen. His fingertip traces my cheek. Prettier than Skye? The juvenile question slips out. I instantly regret it. He chuckles, kissing the tip of my nose. No contest. She doesn't come close. I snuggle into him, sleep drifting over me. Sunlight is pouring through the curtains when I wake. Marcus isn't in bed, but the smell of frying eggs drifts from the kitchen. Wrapped in the sheet, I pad out. He's shirtless at the stove in just pajama pants. Morning, gorgeous. He flashes that knee-weakening smile. I hug him from behind, soaking in his warmth. Sleep well? He turns and drops a kiss on my lips. After breakfast he drives me home. Tonight again, he asks at my door, eyes hopeful. I nod. Already I can't picture a night without him. Back inside I find a text from Skye. Fleur, why didn't you answer yesterday? Can we talk? I delete it. I'm done thinking about her and the locker room. Marcus is mine now. She's irrelevant. For the next week we're together almost every night. He takes me to the best restaurants, the brightest overlooks. More often we stay locked in his apartment. Every touch addicts me. I float in this dream. Then, week 2, the shift starts. His replies cool. His mind wanders during dates. Emergency or tonight. Can't meet. He hurries past me in Riverdale's corridor. But that night, when I stayed late at Riverdale, I overheard that he wasn't on the surgical schedule at all. I tried to convince myself the nurse's station had mixed it up, yet the unease kept swelling. On the third day I spotted him in Riverdale Pharmacy, laughing in a corner with a new student nurse. They were standing too close. His hand rested on her shoulder and his smile outshone any he'd ever given me. In that instant a sharp sting shot through me. The sweetness I'd tasted turned bitter. That evening I called his number, only to hear, the subscriber you're trying to reach has powered off. I decided to go to his place, but down in the street I saw him come home with that trainee in tow. They were wrapped in an intimate kiss, exactly the way he used to kiss me. I crouched behind a car, heart splintering, tears streaming without permission. The next day at Riverdale I mustered the courage to block his path. We need to talk. He gave me a cold stare. Talk about what? I'm slammed. I couldn't believe this indifferent man was the lover who had once tangled breathlessly with me. Why didn't you pick up? Why were you with that student nurse? Fleur, don't be childish, he cut in. We're just having fun. You're not taking it seriously, are you? His words felt like a bucket of ice water dumped over my head. I froze on the spot. The corridor's no place for this. Come with me. He tugged me into the supply closet. I thought he'd explain, but instead, I watched him pull a syringe from his pocket. What are you doing? I stepped back in alarm, bumping into the cabinet behind me. Helping you relax. You're too tense. His grin turned sinister. I tried to run, but he seized my wrist with staggering force. Don't fight. It's better for both of us. He sank the needle into my arm. The serum hit fast. The room spun and my vision tunneled. The last thing I clearly saw was him lifting a phone. Sterling. She's ready. I woke to a pounding head. Everything blurry. Blinking. I found myself stretched out on an unfamiliar leather couch. It was a lavishly appointed office whose walls glittered with medical certificates. Memory crashed over me. Marcus. The syringe. The serum. Awake at last. A familiar voice drifted from behind. I whipped my head around and saw Sterling standing by the desk swirling a glass of red wine. He was just past 50. Well preserved. The real power behind Riverdale. How did I get here? I stammered, fumbling to straighten my clothes. Sterling smiled, and the sight crawled over my skin. Marcus delivered you. Said you needed special attention. I staggered to my feet. I have to go. So soon. He lifted his phone with lazy precision. Aren't you curious about my collection? He tapped play. No, impossible. I cried. I'd never. That's the serum talking. He wiggled the phone. Smug. The conscious you would refuse. But the drugged you was wonderfully cooperative. My knees buckled. I sank back onto the couch. Nausea rising like a tide. You dosed me. Why? My voice shook apart. Sterling settled beside me, hand settling on my shoulder. Because you're gorgeous. Sharp. The perfect subject. I recoiled from his touch. What experiment? What do you want? Details aren't your concern. His fingers clamped my chin. What matters is, if this clip leaks, your career at Riverdale is ash. Tears blurred the room. I had never felt so utterly powerless. What do you want from me? I whispered, barely audible. He leaned to my ear, breath hot on my neck. Report to my office every night after shift. His hand slid to my waist. I went rigid. Not tonight. You start tomorrow. And remember, not a word to anyone. fine. He patted my cheek. Or you know what happens. I stumbled out, raced all the way to the dorm, slammed the lock. Inside, I bolted to the bathroom, cranked the shower, and stepped in fully clothed. I scrubbed my skin raw, frantic to erase every filthy fingerprint, but no matter how hard I scoured, the grime seemed baked in. I curled in the tub, knees to chest, and let the hot spray pound me while I sobbed. Why me? How did this happen? Marcus's sugar-coated words had all been bait, and I'd actually believed he loved me. How pathetic. Next morning I dragged myself to Riverdale. Thick foundation masked my swollen eyes. Coworkers asked if I was sick. I forced a smile and blamed a sleepless night. Rounding a corner I spotted Marcus beside Sterling, both relaxed and laughing. Marcus greeted me with a knowing smirk. Sterling's gaze slid over me like he was appraising property. I hurried past, stomach lurching. All shift I was a ghost, almost grabbing the wrong vials more than once. Fleur, what's going on? Skye asked at lunch, worry creasing her brow. I looked at her, heart cracking. She was another of Marcus's targets. Did she realize she was becoming a lab rat? I'm fine, just tired. I lied, too terrified to warn her. Clock out came. I dawdled, praying to dodge the appointment. When the nurse's station emptied, my phone chimed. Where are you? I'm waiting. Sterling's text glared coldly. I drew a ragged breath, no escape, and trudged to his office. He lounged in the leather throne, 2 wineglasses glowing under the desk lamp. Thought you'd blown me off. He swirled the Merlot, danger sparkling. I was finishing up. I hovered inside the doorway. Come, have a drink. He tipped his chin at the opposite chair. I inched forward, but never touched the glass. No, then let's dive right in. He rose and stroked a finger down my cheek. Know why I chose you? I shrank back. He caught my chin. Because you're proud. So damn sure of yourself. Hand moving to my throat. Then my collarbone. Watching you break is exquisite. Eyes squeezed shut. I let the tears fall. Half an hour later I fled to the nearest restroom and vomited until only bile burned my throat. Wiping my mouth, I noticed a tiny camera wedged beside the paper towel dispenser. The sick bastard was filming even this. Back in my room I scalded myself again, scrubbing until skin blotched red. Then Marcus texted, good girl, same time tomorrow. I hurled the phone. It hit the wall and cracked into a spider web. The days that followed were pure nightmare. By daylight I wore a mask of normalcy. Nights he pushed me past every limit. Each session began with that syringe and a drifting haze. Gaps started eating my memory. Sometimes I couldn't recall how I'd gotten home. On the 4th evening Sterling drank too much and nodded off early. I seized the chance. His top drawer stood ajar. Inside, folders lay neatly stacked. The first was labeled Project. Hands trembling, I opened it. Pages of profiles and glossy photos of female nurses. Skye stared back at me, along with the new trainee, and myself. Beside every face ran columns of injection logs and behavioral notes. Serum effect, obedience amplified. Self-awareness dulled. Sexual receptivity heightened. My hands shook uncontrollably. This was no routine physical. It was straight-up human experimentation. I flipped to the next page and saw even more horrific details. The new hormone control drug was designed to make women obey whoever dosed them. Marcus's name stared back at me from the "a principal investigator" line, while Sterling was listed as the sponsor. My heart hammered. This was organized crime wearing a white coat. Just as I raised my phone to photograph the documents, a soft click sounded behind me. Find something interesting? Sterling's voice raised every hair on my neck. I spun around and found him leaning against the doorframe, eyes cold as a snake's. I stammered, words dissolving. Curiosity killed the cat. Head Nurse Fleur. He stepped closer. Looks like we'll need to up your dosage. I backed up until my spine hit the desk. No, please. He fisted my hair, yanking my head back. Begging now. Too late. From the drawer, he produced a syringe. The fluid inside was darker than usual. Enhanced formula. Let's see how fast it works. He grinned. I thrashed, but his strength dwarfed mine. The needle slid into my arm. Heat bloomed from the site and swept through every vein. The room tilted, colors smearing like wet paint. Before the darkness swallowed me, Sterling whispered, tomorrow you'll remember the lesson. I woke in my own bed at dawn, muscles screaming. Last night was a blur of disconnected frames, his face, the needle, the burn. While I dressed I found fresh bruises blooming on my skin. Terror flooded back. If this went on I'd crack completely. Yet if I fought, those videos would surface and my life would be shredded. What could I do? Call the police. With what proof? Would the serum leave detectable traces? Was any lab test sensitive enough? In the middle of that despair my phone pinged, a WhatsApp from Skye. Fleur, I have to tell you something. Life or death. My stomach dropped. Had she discovered the nightmare too? I texted back, Where? Not at Riverdale. After shift. Riverside. Make sure no one tails you. I sat on a riverside bench, scanning every passerby. 10 minutes later Skye sprinted up, pale as chalk. Sorry, someone was following. Had to loop around. Her gaze flicked left and right. I squeezed her trembling hand. You're safe. What happened? Skye dragged in air. Fleur, I know they've targeted you too. My eyes widened. How? Because I've been a lab rat for 6 months. She rolled up her sleeve. Trackmark constellations. I sucked in a breath. All those. Every one jabbed by Sterling and Marcus. Agony cracked her voice. They call it Project Human Trials for a next-gen control drug. My heart hit rock bottom. I saw files in Sterling's office. It isn't just us. At least a dozen nurses are caught in the net. I clenched my fists. We report them and now. Skye's laugh was brittle. Useless. Sterling's roots in the system run too deep. Nobody will believe us. She hesitated. Plus, they have footage on all of us. The thought of those sick tapes made me shudder. But we can't just surrender. I ground the words out. Skye pulled a tiny vial from her bag. I swiped a sample. I took it gingerly. Maybe we can get it analyzed? And this. She pressed a scrap of paper into my palm. Hunter from anesthesiology, he might help. I studied the note. Why him? He walked in on Sterling injecting me. He looked furious. He's also had clashes with Sterling over budgets. I tucked the vial and note into my bra. I'll find him tomorrow. Stay careful. We set up a text code, then split up. The next day at lunch I hovered outside anesthesiology until the hallway cleared, then slipped inside. Hunter was sorting charts. He glanced up, surprised. Head Nurse Fleur, need something? I shut the door and dropped my voice. Hunter, I need help. His eyes narrowed. What kind? I produced the vial. Can you test this? He held it to the light, frowning. What is it? Linked to irregularities at Riverdale. I phrased it thinly. His face hardened. Sterling again? My pulse leapt. You've heard rumors? Seen enough odd symptoms among you nurses to be suspicious. He pocketed the sample. I can run it, but it'll take a couple days. Relief washed through me. Thank you, Anne. I swallowed. I'm one of the victims. Sympathy and anger flashed across his features. They've dosed you? I nodded, shame heating my cheeks. If this is the compound I think, it can rewire neural pathways, maybe permanently, he warned. I felt the floor tilt. Any antidote? Depends on what I find. He handed me a card. My private cell. Call anytime. I tucked it into my sock. Grateful. Hunter. In the corridor, I exhaled for the first time in weeks, until I spotted Marcus at the far end. Gaze drilling into me. At clockout my phone buzzed. Come to my office tonight. We need to talk, thought Sterling. My fingers trembled. Refusal wasn't an option. I hesitated, then texted Hunter the floor and room number. Squaring my shoulders, I headed for Sterling's office. The moment I pushed the door, a chill rolled over me. Sterling sat behind his desk, smile reptilian. Head Nurse Fleur, heard you had quite the chat with Hunter today. My heart vaulted into my throat. Just scheduling questions. He rose, strolling around the desk. Then why the cloak and dagger? I stepped back, colliding with a cabinet. I don't know what you mean. A sour chuckle. Stop play acting. Did you really think you could scheme against me? His hand shot out, manacling my wrist. Time for a booster. He yanked open the drawer. A syringe glittered. I thrashed. No, please. The door crashed open. Hunter burst in, voice recorder raised. Sterling, it's all on tape. Game over. I gaped, stunned. Sterling's face drained of color. The syringe slipped from his fingers. You. He sputtered. Hunter's voice stayed level. PD is en route. Come quietly. Sterling. For a heartbeat Sterling looked defeated, then his expression twisted. You think a little audio finishes me? Naive. He jabbed a hidden button under the desk. The door slammed open again. Marcus charged in with 2 security guards, pinning Hunter's arms. Hand it over. Marcus extended his palm. Voice arctic. Hunter fought futilely. This is felony assault, evidence tampering. Marcus snatched the recorder, smashed it under his heel, ground the pieces into plastic dust. Sterling straightened his tie. Composure restored. Hunter, you disappoint me. Head Nurse Fleur, looks like you've been busy behind my back. I stared in horror, realizing the situation was worse than I'd ever imagined. Take them to the sub-basement lab, Sterling ordered, voice iced. Hunter and I were blindfolded and shoved down what felt like an endless corridor. After what seemed like hundreds of steps, the blindfolds were yanked off and I froze. We stood in a fully equipped underground lab. Blinding fluorescent lights stabbed at my eyes. In the center, several hospital beds held 3 nurses, their eyes vacant, clearly under the serum spell. Wall monitors flashed vital signs, while shelves brimmed with syringes. Welcome to the heart of Project. Head Nurse Fleur, Marcus said with an exaggerated bow. What What is this place? I gasped, spinning around. Riverdale Sublevel 2, supposedly an abandoned storage area, Hunter murmured. Sterling lounged in a swivel chair. Smug. I had it renovated into a research center. What exactly are you researching? I forced myself to meet his gaze. The future of medicine, Marcus jumped in, gesturing at charts on the wall. Truly revolutionary. Nausea washed over me as I studied the drugged nurses. This is illegal, is it? Marcus smirked. Every nurse signed consent to join our medical study. Hunter snorted. Consent gained through coercion isn't worth the paper it's on. Sterling flicked a dismissive hand. Law. Who cares? Results are all that matter. He walked to a safe, punched in the code, and swung it open. Once perfected, this serum will be priceless. The world will beg for it. Marcus lifted a syringe glowing pale blue. Latest formula. I instinctively stepped back. Memories of the drug flooding me. Don't be frightened. Head Nurse Fleur, Marcus crooned, advancing. You'll be our newest test subject. Hunter thrashed against the guards. Stop. This is a crime. The guards pinned him harder. Marcus kept coming. Know what's special about this batch? He asked lightly, as if discussing the weather. It doesn't just control mood, it edits memory so subjects cooperate willingly. I shook my head frantically. No, don't. Relax. After the jab you'll adore the feeling, he sneered. Just as the needle hovered over my skin, I lashed out, kicking his wrist. The syringe flew, hit the floor, intact. Bitch. Marcus roared, slapping me across the face. In the chaos, Hunter broke free, lunged for the console, and slammed several buttons. Suddenly alarm screamed. What did you do? Sterling shouted. Triggered Riverdale's emergency evacuation protocol, Hunter said, triumphant. This place will be crawling in minutes. Sterling's face darkened. Lock them up. Now. We were shoved into a side room. The door slammed shut. Hunter, are you okay? I asked shakily. He wiped blood from his lip. Just a scratch. Will the alarm really help? I asked, hope flickering. He exhaled. Probably not. Sterling can claim it's a false alarm in seconds, but it bought us time. He pulled a tiny device from his shoe. This is our real ace. I stared at it. What is that? Locator and recorder. A buddy at the FDA has had project on radar for months. Hope surged. You're undercover? Not exactly. I feed them intel. Now we've got decisive proof. The door flew open. Marcus stood there, face stormy. Think you're clever. He spat at Hunter. Alarms already disabled. Two guards marched us back to the main lab. Sterling was frantically deleting files at a computer. Trash the evidence all you want, Hunter said coolly. It's already uploaded. Marcus picked up the fallen syringe and grinned. Choose. Fleur gets the shot, or you do. Hunter and I exchanged glances. He gave a tiny nod. I'll do it. My voice shook, but I stepped forward. Leave Hunter alone. Marcus beamed. Such a brave charge, nurse. He raised the syringe. It'll only pinch. As the needle touched my skin, the lab door burst open. Skye stormed in with several nurses brandishing fire extinguishers and chairs. Let her go. Skye screamed, blasting Marcus with foam. Blinded. He cursed and stumbled back. I kicked him, snatched the syringe, and pocketed it as evidence. Sterling bolted for the exit, but nurses blocked him. You're all insane, he roared. I'm the CEO. Obey me. Skye's laugh was bitter. The serum wore off. Sterling, we're wide awake now. I stored the syringe carefully. Hunter was already on his phone. Backups en route. Hold tight. Marcus whipped out a scalpel. Back off. He seized the nearest nurse. Blade at her throat. Clear a path or she dies. The room froze. Marcus, drop it. Don't make this worse, Hunter warned. Marcus laughed wildly. Worse. Life's a game for the strong. You think you're saving the world? He pressed steel to the nurse's neck. I'm walking out. Nobody stops me. I took a step. Marcus, you used to be respected. Remember your oath. Heal, not harm. His eyes flickered. Hesitation. Marcus, Sterling barked. Don't doom us both. Stick to the plan. Seeing resolve harden in Marcus's face, I knew words were useless. At that instant another door crashed open. Police and FDA agents poured in. Weapons drawn. Drop the weapon. Police, the lead officer boomed. Marcus went white. Slowly, he lowered the scalpel. Sterling lunged, hurling a laptop at officers, then bolted. Guards tackled him before he reached the corridor. Sterling, Marcus, you're under arrest for illegal human experimentation and sexual assault, the officer declared. Handcuffs clicked shut. The long nightmare finally broke. The drugged nurses were rushed to other Riverdale units for treatment. I sagged against the wall, tears flowing. Skye hugged me. It's over. Fleur, it's really over. Hunter wiped blood from his cheek and joined us. Everyone all right? I managed a nod. Thank you, Hunter. Without you. He shook his head. Your courage turned the tide. I just did what any doctor should. FDA investigators began bagging evidence and photographing the scene. A female agent approached. Head Nurse Fleur. I'm Agent Lydia. We'll need your statement. I drew a steadying breath, ready to recount every moment of the horror. But first, she added gently, you'll have a medical check and counseling. As we exited the sub-basement lab, I looked up through Riverdale's atrium and, for the first time, felt sunlight truly shine.